Deadlock is an amazing game, and they've been adding a lot of new features that make it feel polished and fun to play. We got the new Street Brawl mode earlier this year, we got the Hideout, we got a bunch of really cool things. But, as you guys know, this game is still in early access, and well, there are some things that definitely feel archaic in comparison to these great new features. So today, I want to take a look at some of Deadlock's most outdated systems and talk about what can be done to improve them, because, well, they're going to need to get looked at eventually before this game goes into full release, and they might even address some of these in the next major update, who knows? After all, the old God's New Blood update gave us a brand new UI, a brand new settings menu, and, you know, it overhauled a bunch of things that the game really needed to address. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the first system I want to talk about is actually something that a surprising amount of people don't know exists. You see, I like to do custom game streams from time to time to play with my viewers and, you know, just have a good time. But usually, at least once a stream, I get someone asking, what is a custom game? How are you playing these? What's going on? And indeed, it's a system that often goes overlooked by the players. You've got your main game modes here, Deadlock, Street Brawl, you've got bot matches, everybody's played a couple of these when they're just starting out. The Sandbox mode, explore New York City to take a look at the map without having to get shot at, and then Custom Match. Over here, you can create or join a custom match for up to 12 players. And this is a very important system that is useful for tournaments, for goofing around with your friends, or in my case, playing with my viewers. But it is horribly outdated. So you can create a new custom match here or join existing via a code. That is absolutely fine, although honestly, it would be cool if there was like a public custom match browser at some point, because, well, yeah, it would allow for even more customization and flexibility. But if we go ahead and create a new custom match here, oh, look at this crusty old UI. This is a menu that I don't think has actually been touched since 2024. It is old. So old, in fact, that, well, look at the lane colors here. We have yellow lane, we have blue lane, and then purple lane? That hasn't been a thing since early 2025. Oh my god. So, yeah, this thing is ancient as far as Deadlock is concerned, and it has a lot of problems. This is actually the system that made me want to make this video the most, because I've been having to play around with it a lot recently, and it needs some help. So here's how the system works. You join into the custom lobby, and then you can click on one of these teams. That's all well and good. You have some settings on the left here, like the region, adding bots in the slots where there are not players, which for some reason was really hard to click on just there. But, yeah, you can do some basic things over here. You can even turn on duplicate heroes, which, this has confused so many people, because I'll upload a clip from a custom game and they'll be like, is this an old clip that was recorded in the April Fool's update? And it's like, nah, bro, you can do this yourself. You can create a custom game, turn on duplicate heroes, and bam, you have 6 dynamos, or something silly like that. So, yeah, this is all really cool. But the problem is, as many people have found out in my custom games, anybody who joins the custom match can actually edit these settings. So, I can be Joe Schmo, I can join AndrewChicken's custom game here, just flop on over to the Archmother side, and then I can set duplicate heroes to enabled. I can turn on cheats if I want. I can set the game mode to Street Brawl, and I can do so many nefarious things. And furthermore, anybody can use these buttons here, the swap teams, randomize all players, and shuffle within team buttons, which has been the cause of much grief, as people will spam this button. And I've had it happen before where people spammed this, everybody was readied up, someone pressed start, and I was on the spectator team because it randomized me and it put me on spectators. Which is, yeah, that's just real dumb. So, the biggest, most important thing that custom games need right now is the ability to designate one person as the host. The person who creates the custom game should be considered the host. Maybe they can transfer a host to a different person in the match, that's okay, but the host should be the only one who can press these buttons and who can edit these settings. And furthermore, the host should be able to move players around to each different team, which is currently not something you can do, and they should also be able to kick people from the lobby. All of that is just It's really standard custom match stuff. It's in Overwatch, it's in Paladins, that dead old game. It's in basically every other competitive, PvP game out there, but for some reason in Deadlock, there is no host in the custom lobby, which is very, very frustrating. But let's talk about some additional features that they could add to this screen. So first of all, I think it would be nice if there was a little icon that showed what rank everybody is in the custom game here. And the reason for that is simple. If you are trying to play custom matches with a bunch of friends, or you're like me, you're a streamer and you're trying to host custom matches with your viewers, then being able to see the rank will allow you to matchmake a little bit better than you're able to currently. Right now, I get a bunch of people joining my customs, I have no idea what rank they are, and I kind of just rely on the randomize button to matchmake for us. And I try to make sure that the people who I do recognize are on the appropriate teams. It's really finicky, it's not great. So if I could see that, oh, we've got 3 or 4 Eternus players, and then we've got a couple of Oracle players, we've got a couple of Ritualist players, then I could balance it accordingly. And it still won't be perfect, because it's a custom match, but it would just make life easier. And furthermore, I think it would be great to have some extra settings over here that you could toggle, maybe an advanced screen where you can turn on some real goofy stuff. And, well, the sky is really the limit for custom settings that they could put into the custom match. For example, you could flick a switch, and all of the items are enhanced. Wouldn't that be funny? Or you could add an option that lets you purchase legendary items in the store. Would it be balanced? Absolutely not, but that's what custom games are for. We already have duplicate heroes, might as well go even further and really allow us to experiment with some of the goofy tools that this game has to offer. But as I mentioned, by far the most important things are those quality of life features, being able to have a proper lobby host, and just cleaning this screen up a bit, because it is technically functional, but this really does have a long way to go, and you can tell this is one of the oldest features in the entire game, and it has not received an update in so long. Something else I want to talk about is this watch feature. You can come over here to this little corner of your hideout and click on this little rolling movie camera thing, and yeah, you could just watch any game. You can sort by Street Brawl, you can sort by standard matches, you can sort by hero. That's pretty interesting. But, yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about it, apart from just asking, does anybody actually use this? I have to wonder. I'm genuinely curious. Because, like, I am seeing some matches here with, like, 2-1 spectators here, but, like, do you use this system? Like, is this actually helpful for anybody? I'm not saying it should be removed from the game, far from it. I do think it's pretty interesting, but I've never once spectated a public lobby. I have used the search by match ID. You can type in someone's custom match ID, look at the scoreboard, download the replay, and you can watch that, and I've used that for my spectating initiate series I did some time ago. But, yeah, just going in here and watching random games? Is that something you guys do? Let me know in the comments section down below, because I'm genuinely curious. Now let's talk about the hideout, specifically this little play area in the hideout. But AndrewChicken, I hear you saying, this is like a recent feature. This was just added last year. How could this possibly be outdated? Well, it's not necessarily dated, but it could use a little bit of tuning up and a little bit of quality of life. Mainly, I'm talking about adding some more sandbox features, because this area is, it's somewhat of a sandbox. You can shoot enemies, you can buy items, experiment with your build, you can punch sinners' sacrifices, you can turn off cooldowns, and you can just spam everything infinitely, which is pretty nice. And if you're in a multiplayer setting, you can change teams with a crystal over there. But that is pretty much the limit of what you're able to do in here. Now, this doesn't need to have the full suite of things that you can do in the regular sandbox, right? We don't need to teleport a walker into the middle of this room. That would be a little silly. But I do think that this area needs some of the basic quality of life features that the sandbox has. And so let me go to the sandbox and tell you what I would port over. First of all, well, mainly, rather, this thing. on the right here, this Hero Tools section, where you can access all of these buttons, you can level up your character max level, gain access to these health tools here, turn on no death, no reload, and you can also spawn in some more enemies, you can change around the bots, and honestly, it'd probably be pretty nice to have one of these guys in the hideout too, maybe a bit more dressed up to fit the hideout theme, maybe like a proper like test dummy skin or something like that. But yeah, those features honestly would be really nice to have in the hideout. Would it make the sandbox a little redundant? Maybe, but it would just be convenient. And this sandbox still has features that would just not make sense to have in the hideout, like the walker, the guardian, and these troopers. But don't worry, I have my issues with the sandbox too. First of all, why am I not able to respawn these guys? Let me just... there we go, kill the guardian, and the only way you're getting one of these back is to actually just reset the sandbox. Like, I can press spawn camp here. That does nothing. This is a non-renewable resource. And if I'm trying to test various things, for example, the speed at which I can take down a guardian, or, I don't know, just practicing parrying the guardian, or trying out different combat techniques, punching it, whatever, eventually the guardian's gonna run out, and I'm gonna have to just reset the sandbox. That is mighty inconvenient. I think they need to add some mechanism to respawn these objectives in the sandbox. It's just a small nitpick, honestly. There aren't too many people that are actively doing this, but, you know, when you do want to test something on the guardian, you want to have the ability to respawn, and it's something that makes sense. By the way, if you guys have been enjoying this video so far, of course, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I make a lot of Deadlock content here on the channel of all varying shapes and sizes, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. But let's talk about the next feature that is horrendously outdated and also just flat out broken. And it's actually something I have made a previous dedicated video about, but I want to touch on it here just to prove that it is indeed still absolutely terrible. So what am I talking about here? I am talking about the skill rating for all your various characters here. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. There's a lot of things that are just broken about it, and sometimes characters move without reason. I was about to point to Ivy as an example here. She was all the way up here. I played 0 games of Ivy, and she's moved down here. I don't know why. It does not make sense. But yeah, this is just horribly broken because characters that you're bad at can sometimes get high relative skill rating arrows. Characters that you're good at will get down arrows, even when there is absolutely no universe in which it makes sense. So Ivy here, I only have a 50% win rate on her. Somehow she's got a green arrow. But really the most egregious example here is Bebop. I have a sub 50 win rate on him by a pretty good measure. 23 games won, 50 games played, very sub 50. He has a high relative to skill rating. And also I don't have that many games on him compared to the Lash, who has a down arrow. With 4 times the amount of games, 200 games played. And a clearly majority positive win rate here, 116 games won out of 200. That's like a 58% win rate or something like that. It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. It is completely and utterly broken. But the big thing that really ticked me off recently, look at who's down here real quick. You notice something unusual? Let me switch over to my time played, show you the guys at the top here. Do you notice something unusual? What is this guy doing down here? I don't understand, Yoshi. I do have, not the best win rate on Viscus. Viscus is a hard character. His global win rate is negative anyways, so it's tough out here for a Viscus, but a double down arrow. And this is all, bear in mind, while I'm, in the games that I'm losing, still putting out really good personal performance. This match, I got more player damage on Viscus than the enemy team's hard carry. And I was, clearly outperforming many of my teammates on damage, too. And there's another Viscus match where, my team was kind of just hopeless, and I was the only guy doing anything. I had top kills, top damage, we were just struggling. So if you think personal performance plays a factor into this skill rating, and it's not just like pure win rate tomfoolery, then like, I feel like that completely debunks it. But also, if it's just pure win rate, then what the hell is Bebop doing here with a sub 50 win rate? Make it make sense, Yoshi. This system's just awful. If you want to hear more about how it's actually truly screwing up matchmaking and other things, then go watch my full-length video on it, but yeah, I just had to yap about this again. The last thing that's a little outdated is something that we all use every single day, the build page here. It still needs a little bit of work, and I have no doubt that they are going to be working on that, and hopefully we'll get some nice changes in the next major update. Wouldn't that be great? Get some UI fixes and stuff for this. But yeah, there are still some UI bugs for certain builds. For example, if we go and check out this goofy REM build that I played the other day, you can see some very clear formatting issues where these two items are just down here. The person who made this build has a different resolution monitor to mine, and so the formatting works better on their screen. These two items would show up in this little gap here, but they don't work on my screen. So, you know, just one of many bugs with the build browser. But also, editing is a little janky. Like, sometimes you can like add a new category or move a category around, and when you try to edit the category name, you end up, look at that, editing the category name of the category that you moved. That's a little weird. Let me cancel and fix that, oh boy. But, yeah, there are some UI bugs for sure. I don't want to go through the full list. But really, I want to talk about some features that we could add to the build browser section that would make things a lot better. And some of these I've talked about a little bit before. So, first of all, it would be nice to have more metrics for each of these builds, especially for the top daily builds. Being able to see things like the amount of people who have liked these builds, possibly even disliking builds if they have some sort of fundamental flaw. I don't know if commenting on builds would be feasible. That might be a little bit too much, but, you know, a dislike button would be cool. But also being able to see the win rate of these builds would be very nice. Very, very cool feature. Seeing the win rate, first, of the person who actually made the build, right? How often do they win using their own build? But then also seeing the win rate of the general population, you know, everybody else who plays this build. Compile it into a win rate counter and show just how effective these builds really are. Especially for these cheeky builds up here that claim to have a specific win rate. Does this actually have a 53% win rate? Huh, track lock? I don't know, but yeah, would be cool to have that exposed by Valve. So as you can see, there are a lot of things in Deadlock that still need a little bit of polish, and I have no doubt that Valve will get to all of these and it'll all be looking great by the time the game comes out. But I did still want to make this video just to raise some awareness about some of these things, and yeah, just kind of talk about some of the more obscure aspects about Deadlock, like the custom games and match browsing features. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments section down below. Which system do you think is in the most need of love from Valve? And did some of the features of these systems surprise you, like learning that there's no actual proper lobby host in custom games, or the very existence of this thing? Probably the least used feature at all of Deadlock. I don't know, we'll see based on the comments. But yeah, anyways, make sure to like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here and you want to see more content from me, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.